Hi everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Welcome to my latest Citizen channel feature. Please, if you are new to the channel, push that subscribe button and push the bell notifications as well, so you know when these vlogs are coming out. And of course, I do lots of stuff city past and city present, so please push that notification. But make sure your notification is set to public as well. Don't forget, otherwise you won't get to know. But press that subscribe button. Please check out my links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter, and also don't forget I've got a little film and TV channel on YouTube as well, so if you want to have a little break from football, check that out. And of course on Facebook and Twitter I will check every few days and follow and friend everyone back on there. And also don't forget I'll have a sort of links with Losing Business on Twitter. They promote city fan related small businesses, local businesses which need our help perhaps more than ever these days, don't they? So please don't hesitate to get in touch with me if I can promote or put some stuff out for you on one of my magazine vlogs, my city magazine vlogs. And don't forget, I'll always give a shout out to local projects or charities, etc, etc. Just get in touch. Anyway, please enjoy today's Citizen channel feature. Thank you. Right, we're back. Well, I've never been away really, haven't I? If you watch my vlogs every day during the mid-season, but we've got a little match to talk about today. Fantastic. Seems a long time, and yet it seems not that long ago, does it? Yeah, we're going to have a little chat about the match report feature on City against Preston, 27th of July 2021 at the Academy Stadium. Yeah, we were hoping to get fans in. I would have loved to have gone myself, but obviously we had to make do with a closed shop, didn't we? 7 p.m. kickoff. Pep versus Frankie McAvoy. There you go, Frankie McAvoy. I think he got the job in March, didn't he, last year? He's got an interesting job ahead of him, I think, but a little bit more on that later on. Yeah, Preston North End, proud Preston, isn't it? Fantastic. One of the great old teams. You know me and my history. I like Preston. Yeah, this is their 6th game in their build-up as opposed to our first. They played on the 10th of July and beat Bamber Bridge 8-3, 11-goal thriller, 8-3. On the 13th of July, they played at St Johnstone and get a 1-1 draw there. That wasn't too bad. They stayed up in Scotland. They must have stayed there for a few days. Perhaps they had stayed in a one of these big posh hotels, or probably not. Probably a hotel, one of these little airport ones. I'm not too sure. But they stayed up and played Celtic. Yeah, 17th of July. And they beat Celtic 1-0. That's a good scout for them. 20th of July, brought back to earth though, brought back down to earth with a 1-0 defeat at Bolton. And then on the 24th of July, they played Accrington Stanley. Who are they? Yeah, Accrington Stanley. They drew 1-1 with Accrington Stanley. So there you go. And they've got to play after us. They got to play Wigan away. And then they play United. So there you go. There's a treat for them. Nice, easy victory, no doubt. Yeah, so they start the season on the 7th of August at home to Hull City. So when we're down in the smoke at Wembley, they'll be playing Hull City. So our lineup for the night, yeah, interesting. This is what started the first 45 minutes anyway, obviously, but as we know, it was sort of total change, wasn't it? Stefan Diaz, Aki Mendy, Fernandinho as the captain, Mahrez, Cancelo, Pozo, Rodgers, Palmer and Knight. An interesting striking lineup, but obviously that's in number order rather than position. Slicker, Sandler, Roberts, Couto, Marino, Edozie. Well, the old Joker fan Dabby. I might use that once or twice. You'll get bored with that though, won't you? Egan, Riley, Charles, Smith, Bolton, Gomez, McCarty. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Hamilton and Burns. Oh, you have to get used to all these new names. Never mind recognise them. That was bad enough. I'm not sure if we should be called now Peroxide City or Techno City. Yeah, I mean, that was really helpful, guys. You know, I mean, I didn't recognise most of these young lads as it was. And you stick Techno on the back, so I didn't even have a chance. I don't know numbers. I'm no good with squad numbers. So please, you know, just put the names on the back so I could sort of figure out some when they pick the ball up. I'm trying to do player ratings here. It's not easy for us old guys in our 60s. It's bad enough. It's bad enough as it is. I still can't recognise Cancelo from Torres. So what chance have I got with these other guys, unless they're really obvious who they are, a bit like obviously the guy at the back who I forgot who his name is now, Sandler. Yeah, of course I can recognise Sandler and I can recognise Gomez because of his size, but apart from that I do struggle a little bit, so do help us out if you can. So I paid me £1.99 again. I keep paying this, and they take it for 3 or 4 months, and then it slowly disappears, and I don't have City Plus anymore. But I paid me £1.99. It was okay. A couple of buffering things, but it wasn't too bad last night. I watched it on my computer rather than my Fire Stick, so it was okay. Right, the match highlights. Yeah, just briefly as we can before we get into the player ratings, which I'm going to have a look at later on as the main part of what we talk about today. Entertaining first half, I think it was, for a friendly. I don't watch a lot of friendlies, I must admit, but I've thought I'd start to watch a few now, obviously, as I'm doing these vlogs, and I'm obviously now for almost a couple of years. I thought, well, I'll do the friendlies as well. It's football, isn't it, at the end of the day? Preston had bits of the game, obviously, and their sort of best chances at last found Stefan at his best. Yeah, I think this was Stefan's one of Stefan's best games I've seen him play for City. He was quickly out, wanted to thwart an attack when a Preston striker broke through. A nice little slide tackle. I think the Preston striker sort of miscontrolled it slightly, gave Stefan that option. If he controlled it a little better, I think Stefan, a bit like Ederson has done in the past, I think Stefan might have been a little bit lost there. But hey, it looked good, didn't it? But I think the Preston player sort of missed a trick there, unfortunately. He also smothered another little couple of efforts, and I thought Stefan played really well that first half. I was quite impressed with what he did. Diaz and Aki were fine at the back, nothing too much. I mean, they snuck through a couple of times, but nothing too bad. Mendy had a mixed half, didn't he? He sort of looked okay 1 minute, and then a bit sluggish and slow and soft to react the next minute. Fernandinho, of course, was everywhere, heavily involved. Not everything came off. He tried a lot of through balls that didn't quite work, but he was doing his job, sticking it about a bit, wasn't he? Cancelo and Mahrez, I think, grew into it. I think both of them players, he really linked up really well together. I think possibly were our best players on the night, to be honest with you, certainly from the first half. And obviously the goal, superb goal. I'm not sure about the keeper. I mean, Mahrez put it over the wall, which is fair enough. The keeper should be to the right anyway, just seeing where it's going. But he looked a bit worried about hitting himself on the post rather than trying to save it. But hey, there you go. You can't take anything away from Mahrez. A fantastic free kick. The young players, yeah, Rodgers was lively. I like the way he came across the penalty area from left to right and stuff. He seemed to appear on the right and up on the left. So I think he worked quite well, Rodgers. He did all right. I think Pozo was the quietest, do you think, in that first half? I think Ben Knight, please let me know as well in your comments what you think. I think Ben Knight made some good movement, though just didn't quite get that touch to it, did he? But he did make some nice little movements. Palmer played okay, but he did blot his copybook a little bit with that blistering chance over the bar. I mean, it was a brilliant City build-up and a cushioned header back by Mendy, but he's only about 6 yards out, a bit more cooler. He's only a young lad, obviously, but because I do like Palmer, but yeah, that sort of blotted his performance just a little bit in my eyes. Which can I be critical? Yes, of course I can. I mean, these lads, they want to play at the highest level. They perhaps have to take chances like that. And it was Cancelo, of course, and Mahrez who linked up before the cross to Mendy, who back-headed it. So again, those two guys played really well. I think the ref was okay. He let the game flow. Sometimes he gave fouls, and other times fouls he ignored them. But he couldn't. So I don't know who he was. I didn't get the information on who he was. But he was okay. I assume he was a Championship ref. I assume he's not a Premier League ref. I didn't recognise him anyway. So half-time 1-0. 10 changes at half-time, but we didn't really see the join, did we? The youngsters acquitted themselves really well in the second half. I was a bit worried that Preston would use their experience to actually take it to City. I was a bit worried we wouldn't hold on to our 1-0 lead, but as it was, McTeague stood out going forward, and equally so, Van Dabby, wasn't he? I mean, he was excellent. Dozy linked up to put City ahead 2-0 on 64 minutes, which I was very surprised by. But at that stage, they thoroughly deserved to be 2-0 up. Preston weren't offering very much at all. I mean, there was a chance for the 11th outfield player, wasn't there, Slicker, to come on, but he didn't last too long, did he, unfortunately? And I think he's all right. I've heard he's up and about. And I'll be honest with you, when he collected the ball, I thought he had time to actually take evasive action against the forward. I thought I was a bit puzzled by that. And when he did hit him, I think it was a fair collision, but yeah, I wasn't too worried. I thought he'd be okay, but I just thought he it was just a strange thing because he collected the ball and he seemed to know where the forward was, and yet he allowed himself, well, not allowed himself, but his momentum took him into the forward. I think he could have probably. He's only a young lad again, and I'm being critical. I'm 62. I've played in goal myself. I mean, I'd object to being on the floor. I used to, even if my leg was hanging off, I'd still get up and pretend I was all right. But that's a different generation, a different time, isn't it? And you got to be careful these days. But I believe he's okay anyway. But he didn't get much time to actually make any sort of impression. And of course, Stefan returned. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Someone said it was proper rules because it's you got to play to the rules, but that's not the rules, is it? I mean, you should have stuck one of the lads in goal. Walker wasn't about, was he? Unfortunately, but yeah, that would have been interesting. So anyway, Stefan come back on, which is nice of Preston to allow that. And they must have agreed to that. That's no problem. And of course, that break in play allowed Preston to sort of re-galvanise themselves because they looked pretty frustrated most of that second half. They couldn't cope with the young lads, to be honest with you. And they did take advantage of the disruption, but City held firm, of course. I mean, Sandler and Burns particularly, but everyone at the back there was sort of winning the ball, etc., etc. Because they weren't, they were obviously a lot smaller. The City players were a lot smaller than the Preston players, and obviously a lot of inexperienced amongst there. But they did hang on, which is fair enough. I think it said +9 on my little thing for time added on. I don't know what yours said, but obviously the commentator said it was +5, and I kept thinking, no, it says +9, mate. But then he blew exactly on 5 minutes. So obviously it was the guy who did the timer that was wrong, not the commentator. Yeah, I don't think any of the young lads let themselves down. We'll give the player ratings in a minute. A thoroughly deserved win for the 22 City players from the ages of about 10 to 30, was it? I'm not too sure, but some of them looked about 10 years old anyway, so I'm not too sure about that. So full time, an excellent in a friendly, excellent first game of the season, 2-0 win. So we'll go on to the player ratings. Mr. Stuart Brennan's in charge of the Manchester Evening News one, and my little starting score for last night, I've started at 6.5. And obviously we've got sort of two halves, haven't we? So we've got a few ratings to get through. But I've even given a City man of the match for both halves as well, just because that's what it was basically. But yeah, so Stuart Brennan's in the M.E.N hot seat, and I'll start my scores. If 6.5, if they played a good okay game. If they're a little bit under par, it'll be less than 6.5. If they played a lot better, it'll be more than 6.5. Usual rules, you know them. Please let me know your player ratings as well if you get the chance. I know it'll probably take forever doing 22 players, but if you can do that, send them in for me. That'd be fantastic. Right, Stefan had to be alert. This is Mr. Brennan, and then I'll give you my thoughts. Had to be alert to sweep up Barkusenfret, now that's the guy, and on a couple more occasions, not a bad return after 24 hours. Yeah, I mean, he flung straight into it, wasn't he? So he's given him a 7. I'd have to agree with that. As I said, I thought he's one of his better performers. There's no problems with Stefan yesterday. João Cancelo, one of the lively City players, linking well with Mahrez and always seeking those arcing passes to front runners. He sort of seemed to have the time to do that, didn't he? I think Preston were a little bit in awe sometimes of some of the players, not all of them, but because he did put the foot in occasionally. But yeah, he did get time to sort of try and find those passes. Didn't always work, but as I said, he did link up well with Mahrez and play really well. Stuart's given him a 7. I thought it was worth a 7.5. I thought he looked really comfortable and a sort of class above certainly Preston, which he should be, but that's what he looked like. Diaz, just a day after his return, the big man was asked to go again. Yeah, I thought there was another Diaz in the academy. I couldn't believe he was playing, to be honest with you. He eased his way back in with no real alarms. Yeah, so Stuart's given him a 6. I'll give him a 6.5. I've got to give him the standard. I can't give him anything less. Nathan Aké, comfortable knocking the ball around his own box. Another who was rushed into action after hardly any training. So again, like Diaz, Stuart's given him a 6. I'll give him again, like Diaz, 6.5. It's steady. Benjamin Mendy, a couple of headless moments early on. Well, always is with Benjamin, but his run and cushioned header to tee up Palm was class and deserved a finish. It certainly did. So Stuart's given him a 6. Yeah, I've given him a 6.5. I thought he's okay, 50-50. Some came off, some didn't. But I think this is what we're going to see off Mendy. Is that what we want? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, going forward. Fernandinho, he's straight back in, striding around midfield like he owns it, sliding and lobbing passes into the front men at will. And Stuart's given him an 8. Yeah, I thought it was all right. I thought it was a little bit better. I thought, obviously, most of what he didn't work. So I do expect him to stride around like the cock of the north against a team like Preston, championship team. No disrespect. So I'll give him a 7. I'll give him better than the average. But yeah, I think Preston, again, like they were with Cancelo and Mahrez to some extent, were quite wary of him and gave him a little bit more space. But he did put himself about, as you'd expect, and it's great to see him on for another year. Capozzo bustled off the ball first time he's given it, and he disappeared from view for long periods after that. Yeah, Stewart's given him a 5, a bit cruel. I'm not going to go as low as a 5, but yeah, he was. I have given him a 6, a bit less than average. It was a bit out of it depth, I think, last night, even against Preston. Cole Palmer, great work to earn the free kick for the opening goal, but how he, I thought. Was it? I thought it was Rodgers. Oh, I might be wrong. But how he blazed the simple chance over and Mendy's nod down is anyone's guess. Well, just calm. Just stay calm, hit the target, mate. That's all you have to do. But hey, he's only a young lad, isn't he? Stewart's given him a 6. Again, I wasn't overly impressed. Some people saying he was brilliant. I thought he was okay, nothing special. But as I said, for that miss, it would have been, if he'd scored it probably would have been a 7, 7.5. But I'm just going to give him a 6. I say it wasn't outstanding to me when I did recognise him and think out who he was. I can say, please bear with me, because excuse me, half the time I couldn't work out who was who. But that's my old eyes, and you know, there you go. Riyad Mahrez. Outstanding player on show, said Mr. Brennan, bending a brilliant free kick and creating the city that Palmer missed. He's given him an 8, yeah. I've given him a 7.5, yeah. I think that's one of my highest scores today. He did start off a bit dozily. I think he got caught offside 3 times in 15 minutes. I thought, against this opposition, mate, he should be doing a little bit better. Well, then he sort of settled into it and took the mick a little bit, him and Cancelo. So yeah, I was very impressed by the end. Well, at 45 minutes, that's all he played. But yeah, for 15 of those minutes, I wasn't overly impressed, but I have been kind. I've given him 7.5. Ben Knight found it tough against big, strong centre-backs, but kept making the runs and testing the defence. He did. Stewart's given him a 6. Yeah, I'd give him a 6 as well. I think he did struggle, Ben Knight. Morgan Rogers looked like a player who's hardly kicked a ball in earnest this week. His touch was off early, and that affected him. He's given him a 5, Stewart. It's very mean, Stewart, tonight, isn't he? I'll give him a 6.5. I thought it was okay. I think he worked hard, a bit of a nuisance, which I like to see. If some players aren't brilliant, not doing it, as long as they're a nuisance, I'm quite happy. Subs Gomez grew into the game as Fernandinho's replacement. Stewart's given him a 7. Yeah, I'll give him a 6.5. I think he started like a bit of a rabbit in the headlights, but he did improve, and he's only tiny, isn't he? That's his problem. Yeah, so it's got going forward. I'm not too sure. Philip Sandler slotted in neatly as the youngsters turned the screw. Yeah, Stewart's given him a 7. I'll have to give him a 7. I thought he looked very comfortable. He looked an old head on a young body. I mean, he's not young, the younger player anyway, is he? But I quite liked him. I've not seen much of him. I quite liked Sandler yesterday. I like the look of it. A cut of his jib, if they say. Matt Smith, yeah, he's left that Doctor Who ages ago, didn't he? Looked sharp as the link man. Stewart's given him a 7. Yeah, I've given him a 6.5, the standard. I thought it was okay. I wasn't I didn't think it was as obvious as perhaps Stewart thought. But again, I may have missed bits and pieces with my eyes and the numbering system. But I'll give him a 6.5. Of course, Van Dabby took his goal very well. He did excellent. I mean, the goal was a bit dodgy at his near post. So he's given him a 7, but I'll give him a 7.5. I thought he was very lively. I thought he was a big handful, and he tried. He wasn't frightened of having a go, was he? Luke Bolton asked to play a left back and stuck to it. So Stewart's given him a 6. I'll give him a 6.5. I thought he was okay. As I said, he was playing in a position he's not overly used to, and I think he did all right. I have no complaints with Luke Bolton. I'll give him the steady 6.5. Patrick Roberts, he's an enigma, isn't he? Didn't make the most of showcase opportunity. He didn't. He looked one of the poorest players, and yet he's the most experienced, isn't he, with all the teams he's played for? But with that experience, he should be better. I don't think he'll ever going to make it at City, is he? Let's be honest about it. I give him a 6. Just, I'm not going to be cruel, say that's the lowest mark I'll give today, but Stuart give him a 5. But yeah, for all his experience, he didn't look anything special. So be interested to see where he's got to go somewhere, hasn't he? Or someone's going to buy him at some stage. But he's not going to fit in at City, is he, long term? Jan Couto looked neat and effective at right back. He's given him a 7. Stuart, yeah, all okay. I didn't overly notice him that much, but I'll give him a 6.5 for a steady game. Pablo Mourinho, technically correct, but needed more of a goal threat in the striker role. Yeah, I thought it was very quiet. Stuart's given him a 6. I give him a 6. I just thought it was quite quiet. I heard him mentioned 3 or 4 times and saw him dotting about, but nothing special. James McAtee, I think that's the name, isn't it? I don't know where that sub name come from earlier on, but James McAtee, I think that's how you pronounce it. My apologies, James. Lovely disguise pass to set up Van Dabby. It certainly was. He got a 7 off Stewart. I'll give him a 7.5. I thought he was involved a lot, and I thought some nice touches. I was quite impressed with Mr. McAtee, to be honest with you. Finley Burns, under 18 newcomer, unfazed by the step up. Yeah, he was. Stewart's given him a 7. Yeah, no complaints there at the back. I thought he did a good solid job, so I'm going to give him a 6.5, which is the standard. Kieran Slicker, of course, was stretched off, and he's fine. Hopefully fine, no problems. No mark. Oh, you can't really mark him, can you? But there you go. So there you go. Please let me know your ratings. That's the player ratings for City versus Preston, of course. If you get a chance, I know it's a bit long-winded with their 22 players. My man of the matches for City, for Preston, I'd be struggling, to be honest with you. I wasn't impressed with anybody particularly. There's certainly no one in that Preston team I think, oh, he's all right for a championship player. First half, I would just about give it Mahrez. As I said, I'll forgive him his dodgy start, his lazy start. He was all right after that. And the second half's got to be Van Dabby, hasn't it? I thought Van Dabby was fantastic. All right, a dozy. I'm just being silly. Just a bit of fun. Bit of banter. Yep. As for Preston, well, I think Frankie McAvoy's got a lot of work to do there. He's got a hard job in that championship. It's going to be very, as it always is, competitive at that level, for that level. And obviously, he finished the last season okay, but I think mid-table might be the best they'd hope for. And obviously, it's one game. I haven't seen the other games of Preston, but just based on what I saw last night, they might struggle to get a playoff in the playoff shake-up. That's for sure. Which is obviously every club, everyone's aim, isn't it, in the championship? But we'll see. We'll no doubt have a look at Preston will crop up. We'll probably play them in a cup match or something between now and the end of the season. So there you go. Thanks for joining me for this. I try and keep it, well, it's a bit longer than 20 minutes, but I try to keep these shorter this season, just these match reports as opposed to all the stuff I used to put in last year. It used to go on and on and on, and a few changes this season to different things, but you'll see that as and when we do it with all these City present. Don't forget, there'll still be the City history stuff, of course, that we'll dot it about when there's gaps in what's happening on City present. So there you go. Please join me on Sunday. I'll have the match report on the City versus Barnsley game. I think there'll be a tougher proposition. A tougher challenge. I might be wrong, but I think there'll be a tougher proposition. It's interesting to see that Pep's saying they'll play the under-23s in the Community Shield. Well, there you go, Pep. There's a way to get the ticket sold for the Community Shield, mate. Well done. I'm sure he'll throw a few first teamers in like he did last night, but obviously he's limited. It's not his fault. Half of them won't even be back or have trained by the time the Community Shield comes around, and half of them won't have even trained properly before the Tottenham game comes around. So even that'll be even more interesting. But there you go. Yeah. So it's Barnsley on Saturday. Quickly rearranged friendly on City Plus again, so I'll be watching that. Hopefully they might put some names on the shirts. I don't want techno on the back of the shirts, please, City, get it done so I can recognise them a little bit better. It's I was half the time I was trying to listen to what the commentator was saying, who had the ball. I was trying to figure out, that's such and such, and I could with some of them, but I'm not very good. It's me old head, unfortunately. So anyway, Barnsley, join me on Sunday for a full match report of that, and please DM me everything you want, any comments you want to make, please, about last night's game. That's fantastic. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. What are you going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. So we meet here again on the Citizen channel. Or perhaps have a flit across. Have a look at my film and TV channel. I only ever ask one thing. You know what it is. It's simple. Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.